I'm Dennis Bragg on the streets of Missoula. Transportation in the valley is changing rapidly, whether it's because of growth or new technologies. The new Missoula Connect plan is taking all of that into account.
Missoula's selling point is its mountain location, but that makes transportation planning tough.
Either you have really expensive improvements like bridges over the river or over the railroad tracks, or you just have limits on where you can build transportation infrastructure.
And growth is a further complication. That's where multimodal design comes in. A prime example of how Missoula's transportation is changing is here on the Russell Street corridor. When it was rebuilt, accommodations were made not only for cars in transit, but for pedestrians and bikes as well. It's an example of making it easier for people to travel, no matter how they choose to get around.
I do think it is indicative of how we'll design facilities, especially thinking about, what are all the different types of users of a corridor? How do you design for it? How do you integrate transit with the bike lanes and the sidewalks and the vehicle lanes? It can get fairly complicated, but people will bike and walk and ride the bus if it's easy and convenient to do so.
The proposed Missoula Connect plan is tackling not only where and what transportation could look like by 2050, but making it affordable. That's where special attention is needed for mixed-use planning as Missoula's west side grows.
So that you get things like mixed use, and you provide opportunities for people. So you don't have to get in your car and drive on Reserve Street or across Reserve Street. You absorb some of those trips internal to that area. You've got good walkability, bikeability, so those are easy trips to make.
And the plan is also attempting to forecast changes in transportation tech.
So it's those things like electric bikes and scooters and electric vehicles and charging infrastructure. And so all of those things will be elements that we will want to include in this plan. Obviously, it's hard to anticipate. Technology is changing, every day it gets faster and faster. But we're trying to be responsive and think about that and have a flexible approach that takes those technologies and harnesses them to create sort of the vision and the future that we want, rather than just responding to them.
In Missoula, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.